Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So today my name is Tiffany and I'm going to do a flip through of this astrological self-care journal. So the first thing I want to say is this journal can be used from now until you die if you want to, because the prompts for each celestial event, which I'll get to in a second, can be used forever. So they don't change. So even though this is 2023 that I'm recording this, you could still use this journal in 2030 if you wanted to, because the energetics associated with each celestial event are going to be the same. So at least at a high level. I'm not an expert astrologer. But anyway, so the way this book is organized is that you are going to have different sections. So for example, there's opportunities to journal with new moon in Aries, new moon in Pisces, full moon in Capricorn, full moon in Taurus, right? And in each section, she's going to give you prompts for what that means and how to kind of leverage the energy of that celestial event. She also has journal prompts in a section for retrogrades, specifically for Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, and Mars retrograde. There's also stations. So some of the planets, they have longer orbits, like Jupiter, for example, how to tap into those energies when those things are going on. And then there's a journal section on how to journal or tap into the energies from a self-care perspective of the different zodiac signs. So when we're moving through the different zodiac signs. So what is the kind of the overarching piece of this though, is that in each section, she says exactly what the energetic is like, how to tap into it, but also how to do self-care during the energetic of that time. So when there's a Mars retrograde, what would be good for self-care during that time? When Mercury is retrograding, what does self-care look like during that time? And then the last thing I just want to say is that at the end of this book, there is a reference for the celestial events from a calendaring perspective. So she shares the celestial events from 2022 to 2024. However, like I said, this information doesn't go stale. You can use these prompts even in 2023, and you can use this book as a reference for the rest of your life if you wanted to. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do the flip through, and if you have any questions, just let me know. All right, so I'm going to do the flip through of the Astrological Self-Care Journal. So this journal is all about finding the cosmic guidance and insight to take care of you. And it's by Stephanie Gailing. And I just want to note a few things. So first of all, this is a hardcover. The version that I got actually has flaws on the cover, so you'll see those. So hopefully if you do get this journal, it doesn't have that on there. The dimensions are, this is about 6.5 by 8.5, but it is a truly hardcover book. Like, it feels like a book. And I got this because, well, of course I'm interested in astrology and like all things magic basically, but I was really curious to see what she put together, and what I found inside I thought was just super cool. So I want to do a flip through of this. So, all right. So just getting into it. Again, it feels like a book, especially with the binding. So you notice there's a table of contents here, and I'm going to get into it. You have an introduction here, which gets into the background on how we can tap into celestial events in order to promote self-healing and really lean into the energies that are happening at those points in time. The other thing worth noting is that if you're one of those people that's like, I don't know when these things are occurring, well, I have great news for you. She has a reference at the back, which I'll get to at the end, where you can see all of the moons and retrograde, Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, Mars, all the events are here, and the dates, it's dated from 2022 to 2024. So this journal has a little bit of life left in it just yet. And honestly, while the dates may go away, she makes it really clear in this journal that you can use this over time. So let's say that you really like journaling with the celestial events. It's going to be the same every year. So if you decide to use this journal beyond 2024, you could still use these prompts, and it would, for each of these events, and it would still be relevant. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So the first thing, so this is divided into sections. So we have the moons, so the new moons and the full moons, the energies of those. We have planetary retrogrades, planetary stations, and zodiac signs. So first, getting into the moons, you're going to have the new moons come first. So Aries new moon, Taurus new moon, for example, and you're going to have several pages to journal. So, and it's all related to Aries energy. It's how can we tap into Aries energy in this section? How can you leverage this energy during that time frame? So the opportunities include for Aries, for example, is finding courage to begin something you've been avoiding, discovering a cause for which you want to fight. The challenges of this energy are moving, fast, or moving too fast that leads to missteps, mishaps, or minor accidents. Affirmations that you can use during the Aries new moon, and then self-care rituals here. And then you'll also notice that here are the reflections. So what do I want to champion? Here's your opportunity to write that down. What can help me be more patient? This is your opportunity to write that down. What incites my passion? How can I better assert myself when necessary? So again, we're tapping into that Aries energy. And so you have these prompts, and they're customized for each new moon. So now we have Taurus new moon, surveying your habits to see which are truly supportive to you, looking to nature for guidance and grounding, right? So it taps into the energies of every single zodiac sign. And then eventually we will get to the full moons, and you go through the zodiac with the full moons. And again, these prompts can be used year after year. This is not something that is going to end when you get done with this journal. And so we have the full moons, and then we go to planetary retrogrades. So in this journal, we're really referencing 3 planetary retrogrades: Mercury, Venus, and Mars, because those are the ones that most often occur in a year time frame. The other planets, my understanding is, move a lot slower. So this is a great way to figure out, okay, how do I tap into and leverage Mercury retrograde? So she has here, when does it occur? It occurs, approximately 3 times a year for 3 weeks. What are the opportunities for awareness? And she gets into that. Strategies to sidestep your stress, and then self-care rituals for Mercury retrograde. We have Venus retrograde represented here. Same, similar information, but geared towards or customized for Venus. And then we have the Mars retrograde here. And so you'll notice Mars retrograde lasts about 10 weeks, occurs every 26 months, and there's questions more around, because Mars is like war. So like, what's my relationship with anger? What's my usual response when I'm confronted with fear? Do I fight? Do I flight? Or do I freeze? So it's those kinds of questions. Then we have planetary stations. So this is to capture, so in addition to the Mercury, Venus, and Mars retrogrades, when we're looking at other planets, we want to leverage their stations, because these are planets that are moving a lot slower. So for example, the Jupiter station occurs 2 times per year, when Jupiter, the planet that represents wisdom, expansion, and faith, begins and ends its retrograde cycle. So again, how can we align with the times? What affirmations can we use? What are the self-care rituals? For example, for Jupiter, she has creating a vision boards. And again, we have prompts that are customized for Jupiter energy. We have the Uranus station here, Neptune station, Pluto station, and then we're into the zodiac signs. And so then as you're navigating the year, you can also be journaling in alignment with the zodiac sign. So again, we start at Aries, and she goes into characteristics of Aries, personal health profile, wellness therapies associated with Aries energy, relaxation practices, essential oils, flower essences, and yoga poses. And then again, there's journaling prompts for each zodiac sign. And again, it's about tapping into those energy from a place of self-reflection. And then, as I mentioned before, we have the celestial event calendar. And again, it's running from 2022 to 2024. And she also has all of the retrogrades and stations at the back for reference. All right, so that concludes this journal. I thought it was pretty cool and unique. If you have any questions, let me know.